Have you ever stopped to think about the secret life of the book you're reading on your screen? I'm not talking about the story in the pages, but the story of the pages. We're going to follow the incredible, multi-generational journey of just one book, from a dusty, forgotten library shelf all the way to the screen you're looking at right now. Let's trace its path.
I mean, this quote just says it all, right? These aren't just old books. They are literal time capsules. Just think about it for a second. Entire worlds of history, of culture, that for the longest time were locked away, really only accessible to a handful of people. We're about to see how that gateway was kicked wide open for all of us. So, before any of this digital magic was even a possibility, our book had a long physical life. This is the first chapter of its story, an existence you could measure in paper and ink and the simple passage of time.
And this is such a cool way to think about it. You know, we always focus on the author's story, but the book itself, the physical object, it has its own biography. Who owned it before? Where has it been? Its journey through time just like a person, collecting its own stories along the way.
And you can actually see the evidence of that journey. A coffee stain, maybe a folded corner, a little note scribbled in the margin. These aren't flaws. They're the footprints of past readers. It's like a silent conversation happening across decades, a real, tangible reminder of this book's long, long life.
So this timeline really maps out the book's entire lifespan, right? It starts with the publisher. The book is born. Then it finds a home in a library, a quiet guardian, preserving it for generations of people. But then comes the big moment, the scanner. This is where it's painstakingly reborn in digital form. And that, of course, leads to the final step, you. All of that history delivered right to your screen in an instant.
And now we get to the book's second life. This is the point where technology steps in and, honestly, everything changes. It goes from being this single physical thing to a piece of information that's accessible to pretty much everyone, everywhere.
And this was the mission behind it all. This wasn't just about scanning a few books here and there. Nope. This was part of a much, much bigger, almost impossibly ambitious goal. The idea was to take all of human knowledge, much of it locked away in libraries all over the world, and put it online for everybody.
And this was the project that made it happen. The key thing to understand about Google Book Search is that it wasn't just about making ebooks. The real game changer was making the content of these books searchable. All of a sudden, you could type in a specific phrase and find it buried deep inside some 200-year-old book you never even knew existed. It was absolutely revolutionary.
And we should be really clear, this was a monumental task. As the source material says, this work is expensive. I mean, just try to imagine the sheer scale of that. Armies of people, highly specialized scanners, working for years and years, carefully turning these fragile pages into digital files without destroying them. It was a huge, deliberate, and very costly effort to preserve and share our global culture.
Okay, so our book has survived all these years, and its copyright has finally expired. It now enters a new legal status. It's officially in the public domain. And this brings a new kind of freedom for sure. But as we're about to find out, that freedom comes with some pretty important rules.
So what is the public domain exactly? Well, at its core, the definition is pretty simple. After a certain amount of time, a creative work just isn't one person's exclusive property anymore. It sort of graduates into the collective ownership of all humanity. It belongs to all of us.
And the difference is simple, but it's profound. With copyright, the legal term is active, and what you can do with it is restricted. You need permission. But with the public domain, that term is over, and the work belongs to the public. It's freely accessible. It's really the difference between a locked private garden and a wide-open public park.
And here's where it gets a little tricky. You'd think public domain means the same thing everywhere, right? Well, the answer to that is a hard no. Copyright law is not a universal thing. So a book that's in the public domain for someone in the United States might still be under copyright protection in, say, Germany or Japan. The rules really do vary, country by country, and that's a super important detail to remember. So this all brings us to the final, and maybe the most important part of this whole story. With all this incredible access, you get a new role. You're not just a reader anymore, you're actually a custodian of this history. And that comes with both power and responsibility.
So what do those responsibilities look like? Well, first, use these files for your own personal, non-commercial stuff. Second, don't just blast the system with automated computer queries. Third, you've got to keep the Google watermark. It's really important for giving credit and helping other people find this material. And finally, the big one.
Whatever you do, keep it legal.
And this right here is the key takeaway. This is the bottom line. The platform gives you access, but at the end of the day, the ultimate responsibility is on you, the user. You have to be sure that how you're using this material is legal where you are. Just because you can download it doesn't automatically mean you can use it for any purpose anywhere in the world.
And so, that's the question we're left with. We've followed this book's incredible journey from a single physical object to a piece of data that's accessible to almost anyone. An absolutely unimaginable treasure trove of history, culture, and knowledge is now open to us. The gate is open. So, what story are we going to write for its next chapter? What will we build with this incredible gift?